She's going to kill you when she finds out what you've done, my stepson spat, his 12-year-old face twisted with a rage that made him look disturbingly like his biological mother during her worst moments. The scissors in his hand gleamed as he stood over the shredded remains of my wedding dress, the one I'd been saving to show my future daughter, the one that had belonged to my grandmother. But what made my blood run cold wasn't the destroyed heirloom or even the scissors, it was the photo he clutched in his other hand, a recent prison visit photo I'd never seen before. My real mom is coming back, he yelled, waving the photo like a weapon. Pack your things. I forced myself to stay calm, extending my arms even as my heart shattered. He needed love most when he deserved it least, that's what every parenting book said, though none of them covered what to do when your stepchild destroyed irreplaceable family treasures. Come here, sweetheart. Don't call me that. He brandished the scissors. She said you tricked Dad. Said you're the reason she's in jail. When she gets out next month, she's taking me away forever. Next month. The words hit like ice water. Brittany's sentence wasn't up for another 3 years. Unless. My phone buzzed on the dresser. I glanced at the screen. Linda, our social worker. My hands trembled as I answered, keeping my voice steady. Linda. The adoption is finalized. You're his legal mother now. But we need to talk about Brittany. There's been a development. What kind of development? I watched Trevor's face shift from triumph to confusion as he registered my tone. She's been granted early release. Compassionate grounds. Stage 4 cancer. She has maybe 2 months. And? Linda paused. She's requesting to see Trevor. She wants to say goodbye. The scissors clattered to the floor. Trevor stared at me, his green eyes, his father's eyes, wide with shock. What's wrong with her? I ended the call with Linda, promising to call her back. Kneeling carefully among the white silk remnants of my grandmother's dress, I picked up the photo he'd dropped. Brittany looked thin, gaunt even, her once lustrous red hair sparse and dull. How had I missed the signs? Trevor, we need to talk. No. He backed away. No, you're lying. She's getting out. She's getting better. She told me, his voice cracked. She told me we'd go to Disneyland. She promised. When did she promise that, honey? Last week. When she called from the prison phone. She said. He collapsed onto my bed, all the fight draining out of him. She said not to tell you or Dad. Said it was our secret. Last week. After she'd gotten her diagnosis. After she'd signed the adoption papers. After she'd known she was dying. Dad. Trevor suddenly screamed. Dad. Heavy footsteps thundered up the stairs. Marcus burst through the door, still in his EMT uniform, coming off a 12-hour shift. He took in the scene, the destroyed dress, the scissors, Trevor's tears, my shell-shocked expression, and immediately went into crisis mode. What happened? Is anyone hurt? She's dying, Trevor whispered. Mom's dying, and Laurel knew, and nobody told me. Marcus's face went white. He looked at me, and I nodded slightly. He sank onto the bed beside his son. How long have you known? Trevor demanded, turning on me with fresh fury. How long have you been lying to me? 30 seconds, I said quietly. I found out 30 seconds ago. But you knew she was sick. You had to. No, baby. I didn't. Don't call me baby. Don't call me anything. You're not. He stopped, the words dying in his throat. Because I was. Legally, officially, irrevocably. As of 10 o'clock this morning, I was his mother. The irony wasn't lost on me. 3 years I'd been raising him, loving him, fighting for him. 3 years of therapy appointments, school conferences, late-night tears, and small victories. 3 years of being mom in every way that mattered except on paper. And now, the very day it became official, his biological mother was coming home to die. Trevor, Marcus said softly. We need to. I want to see her. Trevor's chin jutted out stubbornly. I don't care what you say. I want to see her. Of course you do, I said, surprising them both. And you should. She's your mother. Laurel, Marcus warned. What? She is. Biology doesn't stop being true just because a judge signed some papers. I gestured at the destroyed dress. And clearly, there are things that need to be said. On all sides. Trevor stared at me suspiciously. You'd let me see her? Let you? Honey, I'll drive you myself. Laurel, can we talk? Marcus stood, using his "we need to have a private conversation" voice. Trev, go wash your face. We'll figure this out. Trevor hesitated, then bolted from the room. We heard the bathroom door slam down the hall. Are you insane? Marcus hissed. Brittany seeing him? After everything she's done? She's dying, Mark. So? That doesn't erase the neglect, the drugs, the men she brought around. It doesn't erase finding our son locked in a closet while she was passed out with a needle in her arm. No, it doesn't. I started gathering the pieces of my grandmother's dress, needing something to do with my hands. But it might give Trevor some closure. And her some peace. She doesn't deserve peace. Maybe not. But Trevor deserves the chance to say goodbye. I looked up at him. Do you want him carrying guilt for the rest of his life? Wondering what if? Marcus slumped against the doorframe. When did you get so wise about this stuff? Sometime between the first therapy session where he threw a chair at me and the 5th time he ran away trying to find her, I managed a weak smile. Besides, I just legally became his mother. Might as well start with the hard stuff. About that. Marcus sat beside me on the floor, helping gather silk scraps. I'm sorry it happened like this. Today was supposed to be happy. Life rarely follows the script. I held up a piece of beaded bodice. Mom would have understood. She loved messed up kids. It's why she fostered. You're not angry? Oh, I'm furious. This was the only thing I had of hers. But, I sighed. He's 12. His world just imploded. Again. If destroying my dress helped him feel some control, then maybe it served its purpose. St. Laurel strikes again. Hardly. I wanted to throttle him. Still might, once the dust settles. I leaned against his shoulder. We should call Linda back. Find out the details. Yeah. He didn't move. Laurel? What if seeing her makes things worse? What if she fills his head with more lies? Then we deal with it. Like we always do. I kissed his cheek. Go check on him. I'll call Linda. Marcus left, and I dialed Linda back, steeling myself for whatever came next. Sorry about the dramatic delivery, Linda said immediately. I wanted to tell you about the adoption first, in case you wanted to reconsider given the circumstances. Reconsider? No. Never. Good. I hoped you'd say that. I could hear her shuffling papers. Brittany's at St. Mary's Hospital. Transferred from the prison medical ward yesterday. She's asked to see Trevor before the end. What kind of cancer? Pancreatic. Stage 4. Spread to everything, apparently. The doctors say weeks, not months. I closed my eyes. And she waited until now to tell anyone? She's known for about 6 weeks. That's when she signed the adoption papers. Said she wanted him to have a real mother when she was gone. She said that? Her exact words were, that woman already loves him better than I ever could. Might as well make it legal. My throat tightened. Linda, is she clean? For years. Since the day Trevor was removed from her custody. For what it's worth, she's been model prisoner. Got her GED, completed every program they offered. Even started teaching literacy classes to other inmates. Why didn't she tell us? Request visits? She said seeing her would hurt Trevor more than help. Said she needed to get herself right first. Linda paused. I think she always planned to reconnect when she got out. She just ran out of time. A soft knock interrupted. Trevor stood in the doorway, face blotchy but clean. Marcus hovering behind him. Is that the social worker? Trevor asked. Are you talking about her? I nodded. Linda, I need to go. We'll call you tomorrow about arranging a visit. Of course. And Laurel? Congratulations. You're officially a mom. Twice over, actually. I have a surprise for you, but that can wait until tomorrow. I hung up, confused by her last comment but focused on the immediate crisis. Trevor stood awkwardly, his earlier rage replaced by something that looked like fear. Can I help clean up the dress? Sure. I patted the floor beside me. Though I think it's beyond saving. He knelt carefully, picking up a strand of pearls that had torn free. Was it really your grandma's? It was. She wore it to marry my grandfather in 1952. I'm sorry. His voice was so small. I was so angry. I know, baby. It's okay. It's not okay. I ruined everything. Like I always do. Tears started fresh. Maybe that's why she's dying. Because I'm so bad even God doesn't think I deserve a mom. Oh, Trevor. I pulled him into my arms, and for once, he didn't resist. That's not how it works. People don't get cancer because of anything you did or didn't do. But I wished for her to come back. I prayed every night. And now she is, but it's all wrong. Marcus joined us on the floor, wrapping us both in his strong arms. Life is complicated, buddy. Sometimes prayers get answered in ways we don't expect. I don't want her to die, Trevor sobbed. Even if she was bad. Even if she hurt me. I don't want her to die thinking I hate her. Then we make sure that doesn't happen, I said firmly. We'll visit her. As many times as you need. Okay? You promise? Even though I wrecked your dress? I promise. Dresses can be replaced. Time with people we love can't. We sat there among the ruins of my grandmother's wedding dress, holding each other as the afternoon sun slanted through the windows. It wasn't the adoption day celebration we'd planned, no cake, no balloons, no family photos. But it was real, and raw, and somehow exactly what we needed. Eventually, Trevor pulled back, wiping his nose on his sleeve. Mom? The word hung in the air between us. In 3 years, he'd never called me that. Not once. Yeah? Do you think she'll be mad? That I call you that now? I said carefully, that your mom wants what's best for you. And she knows that loving me doesn't mean loving her less. Hearts are infinite that way. He nodded slowly, processing this. Can we go see her tomorrow? If the hospital allows it, yes. Can I bring her something? From when I was little. Of course. What did you have in mind? He disappeared down the hall, returning with a battered stuffed elephant. Mr. Peanuts. She gave him to me for my 3rd birthday. Before things got bad. Maybe it'll help her remember. That's perfect, sweetheart. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. We ordered pizza, adoption day dinner, Marcus joked weakly. We called Linda back to arrange the hospital visit. We even managed to salvage some of the pearls from the dress, which Trevor carefully placed in a small box. For your daughter, he said shyly. When you have one. So she has something from her great-grandma. I started crying then, couldn't help it. This kid. This beautiful, broken, complicated kid who'd just become mine in every possible way. That night, after Trevor was in bed, Marcus and I sat on our back porch, sharing a bottle of wine and trying to process the day. You know what the worst part is? Marcus said. Part of me is relieved. That she's dying. What kind of person does that make me? A human one. A father who's watched his child suffer. When I got the call 3 years ago, when they found him in that closet. He shuddered. 26 hours she left him there. 26 hours while she partied. He'd clawed his fingers bloody trying to get out. I know. Do you? Really? Because sometimes I think you see the good in people who don't deserve it. Maybe. Or maybe I see the good that could have been, if things were different. I took a sip of wine. Did you know she aged out of foster care? No family, no support. Had Trevor at 19. Lots of people have hard lives without becoming addicts who neglect their kids. True. But hurt people hurt people. And somewhere in that cycle, someone has to choose grace. I looked at him. Doesn't mean we forget or pretend it didn't happen. Just means we allow space for humanity. When did you become so philosophical? Somewhere between marrying a man with a traumatized kid and legally adopting said kid on the same day his birth mother started dying, I managed a wry smile. It's been a day. That it has. He pulled me closer. You know you're incredible, right? Any other woman would have run screaming from this mess. Good thing I'm not any other woman. Good thing. He kissed my temple. What did Linda mean about twice over? I have no idea. Said it was a surprise for tomorrow. Can we handle any more surprises? As if on cue, Trevor's scream pierced the night. We raced inside, finding him thrashing in bed, caught in the grip of a nightmare. No, please. I'll be good. Don't lock me up. Mama, please. I gathered him in my arms, rocking gently. Shoo, you're safe. You're home. No one's locking you anywhere. His eyes flew open, wild and unfocused. Mom? Right here, baby. Just a bad dream. I was back there. In the closet. But this time, he shuddered. This time she didn't come back at all. Marcus sat on his other side, rubbing his back. You're never going back there, Trev. Ever. But what if I have to? If she dies, and you die, where would I go? To me, I said firmly. You'd stay right here with me. That's what adoption means. Forever family, no matter what. Even if Dad dies? Even then. Even if I do really bad stuff? Even then. Even if. He hesitated. Even if you have real kids? Your own kids? Ah. There it was. The fear beneath the fear. Trevor, look at me. I waited until his eyes met mine. You are my real kid. Biology doesn't make someone more or less real. Love does. And I love you completely, forever, no matter what. But you'll want a baby. Everyone says so. A real baby that looks like you and doesn't have issues. First of all, everyone needs to mind their own business. Second, any child of mine is going to have issues because that's what makes us human. And third. I paused, thinking of Linda's cryptic comment. If I ever have another child, biological or not, they'll be your sibling. Your real sibling. And you'll always be my first. My son who made me a mother. You promise? Pinky promise. We did our elaborate pinky promise ritual, hook, shake, kiss, seal, and slowly, he relaxed back into sleep. Marcus and I stayed until his breathing evened out, then crept back to our room. That was beautiful, Marcus whispered. What you said. Meant every word. I yawned, exhaustion hitting like a truck. Think we'll sleep at all tonight? Probably not. But hey, good practice for if we do have a baby. Yeah, about that. I bit my lip. What if we already are? Marcus froze. What? I'm late. Really late. And the test this morning. I pulled the pregnancy test from my nightstand drawer, 2 pink lines visible even in the dim light. Are you serious? I was going to tell you tonight. Make it a double celebration. But then, holy shit. He stared at the test, then at me, then back at the test. We're having a baby? Maybe? Probably. I have a doctor's appointment Monday to confirm. On adoption day. Of course. He laughed, slightly hysterical. Think Linda knew somehow? I don't see how she could. Oh. I remembered her comment. Twice over. She said I was officially a mom twice over. Psychic social workers. Great. Mark? You're happy, right? I know the timing is insane. He kissed me, deep and thorough. I'm ecstatic. Terrified, but ecstatic. Think Trevor will be okay? I think we'll find out tomorrow. One crisis at a time, right? Right. He placed his hand on my still flat stomach. Hi, baby. Hell of a day to join the family. We finally fell asleep around 3, only to be woken at 6 by Trevor standing in our doorway. Can we go see her now? Hospital doesn't open for visitors until 9, buddy, Marcus mumbled. Oh. He shifted anxiously. Can we make her something? To eat? She probably hates hospital food. I sat up, recognizing the manic energy. He needed to do something, anything. What did she like to eat? Before? Banana pancakes. She made them every Sunday until. He trailed off. Can we make some? Absolutely. Come on, let's raid the kitchen. We spent the next 2 hours making enough banana pancakes to feed an army. Trevor insisted on making them from scratch, the way Brittany used to. He even remembered she put vanilla in the batter. She sang while she cooked, he said quietly, flipping a pancake with surprising skill. Old songs. Patsy Cline and stuff. Do you remember any of them? Crazy. She sang that one a lot. He gave a bitter laugh. Fitting, right? Or maybe she just liked Patsy Cline. At exactly 9 o'clock, we stood outside St. Mary's Hospital, Trevor clutching a container of pancakes and Mr. Peanuts. He'd changed outfits 3 times, finally settling on the button-down shirt I'd bought him for school pictures. What if she doesn't want to see me? He asked for the 10th time. She asked for you specifically, I reminded him. She wants to see you. What if I don't know what to say? Then you don't say anything. Sometimes just being there is enough. Linda met us in the lobby, her usual cheerful demeanor subdued. She's in room 302. She's very weak. Prepared for that, okay? Trevor nodded, chin up, trying to be brave. We'll be right outside if you need us, Marcus said. No. Trevor grabbed my hand. I want Mom to come with me. I looked at Marcus, who nodded. Of course, baby. If that's what you want. Linda led us through the maze of corridors. The smell of antiseptic and disease grew stronger as we entered the cancer ward. Room 302 was at the end of the hall, the door slightly ajar. Ready? I asked. Trevor squared his shoulders. Ready. We walked in together, and I bit back a gasp. The woman in the bed looked nothing like the booking photos from 3 years ago. Brittany had always been thin, but this was skeletal. Her skin was yellow-gray, her hair mostly gone. But her eyes, Trevor's eyes, were alert and filled with tears. My baby, she whispered. My beautiful boy. Trevor stood frozen until I gently nudged him forward. Hi, Mom. Look at you. So big. So handsome. She tried to lift her hand, and he took it carefully. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I brought Mr. Peanuts, he said, voice cracking. And banana pancakes. Like you used to make. You remembered. Tears rolled down her sunken cheeks. Of course you remembered. Trevor's quite the chef, I said softly. He made them from scratch this morning. Brittany's eyes found mine. You're her. Laurel. I am. Thank you. For loving him. For being the mother I couldn't be. He's easy to love. No, she said with surprising firmness. He's not. He's complicated and angry and hurt. But you love him anyway. I know. He talks about you in his letters. You write to each other? Trevor flushed. Through the prison email system. Dad set it up last year. I looked at Marcus in surprise. He shrugged. Supervised account. I read everything first. Smart man. Brittany studied me intently. You're pregnant. It wasn't a question. I touched my stomach instinctively. How did you? Same way I always knew when I was. Something in the eyes. She squeezed Trevor's hand. You're going to be a big brother. Trevor looked between us, shocked. Really? Early days yet, I said carefully. But yes. See, baby? Brittany smiled at Trevor. You're getting a real family. Everything I wanted for you. You're my family too, Trevor insisted. You'll get better, Anne. No, sweetheart. I won't. She spoke gently but firmly. The doctors say I have maybe a month. Probably less. That's not fair. No. It's not. But life rarely is. She struggled to sit up straighter. Can I tell you something? A secret I've been keeping? Trevor nodded, tears streaming. I've been clean for 4 years. Since the day they took you. Not one slip, not one pill, nothing. Then why didn't you come see me? Because I needed to earn it. Needed to prove I could stay clean for you, not just for a judge or a social worker. She touched his face. I failed you so many times. I wanted to get it right, just once. You could have called. Could have visited. And said what? Sorry I chose drugs over you? Sorry I locked you in a closet? She shook her head. You deserved better than sorry. You deserved action. So you just gave up on me? No, baby. I gave you up. To them. She looked at us. To people who could love you right while I learned how to love myself. Trevor pulled his hand away. That's bullshit. You just didn't want to deal with me. Trevor, I warned. No, he's right to be angry, Brittany said. Be angry, baby. Scream at me if you need to. God knows you've earned it. I don't want to be angry. He was sobbing now. I want my mom. I want Sunday pancakes and bedtime songs and someone who looks like me. Come here. She patted the bed, and after a moment's hesitation, he climbed up beside her. She wrapped her skeletal arms around him, and I saw Marcus tense, ready to intervene if needed. But she just held him while he cried, stroking what was left of his hair. And then, softly, she began to sing. Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. Trevor's sobs intensified, but he clung to her, this ghost of the mother he'd lost long before today. I found myself crying too, for all of them, the boy who'd lost so much, the woman who'd realized too late what she'd thrown away, the family that might have been. When the song ended, Brittany kissed Trevor's forehead. I need you to know something. You listening? He nodded against her chest. What happened to you, the neglect, the closet, all of it, that was on me. Not you. You were perfect. Are perfect. I was sick, and I made terrible choices, and none of that was your fault. Everyone says that. Because it's true. And someday, I hope you'll believe it. She looked at me over his head. Take care of my boy. Always. And the new baby. Tell them. She paused, thinking. Tell them their big brother is the bravest person I've ever met. That he survived things no child should have to survive and still kept his heart open. Tell them to be like him. Mom, stop, Trevor pleaded. Stop talking like you're already gone. Okay. Okay. She shifted, wincing. Tell me about school. Tell me everything I've missed. For the next hour, Trevor talked. About soccer and science class and his best friend Jamie. About learning guitar and hating math and the teacher who let him eat lunch in her classroom when the cafeteria got too loud. He talked until his voice grew hoarse and Brittany's eyes started drooping. We should let you rest, I said gently. Wait. She fumbled for something under her pillow, pulling out a small wooden box. Trevor, this is for you. For after. He took it with shaking hands. What is it? Letters. One for every birthday until you're 18. Things I want you to know. Advice I won't be here to give. She touched the box. And some pictures from before. When things were good. Mom. And this. She removed a thin chain from around her neck, a small compass pendant hanging from it. My grandmother gave this to me. Said it would always help me find my way home. I got lost anyway, but maybe it'll work better for you. Trevor clutched the necklace like a lifeline. I'll visit tomorrow. And the next day. Every day until the end, she finished. I'd like that. We said our goodbyes, Trevor hugging her so tight I worried he might break her. But she held on just as fierce, memorizing him with her hands. In the hallway, Trevor collapsed against the wall, the wooden box pressed to his chest. Marcus scooped him up like he weighed nothing, carrying him to a quiet waiting room. I don't understand, Trevor said, voice muffled against Marcus's shoulder. If she got clean, why is she still dying? Isn't that supposed to fix things? Getting clean fixed her soul, I said carefully. But bodies sometimes break in ways we can't repair. It's not fair. We were supposed to have time. She was supposed to see me graduate and meet my kids and be proud of me. She is proud of you. Right now, exactly as you are. How do you know? Because I'm a mom. And moms know these things. Linda approached quietly. How did it go? About as expected, Marcus said. Hard but necessary. I have some information about services, if you're interested. Counseling, support groups for kids with terminally ill parents. We'll take everything you've got, I said. And Laurel? Could I speak with you privately for a moment? I followed her down the hall, confused. Is something wrong? No, nothing like that. I just thought you should know, Brittany listed you as next of kin. What? Why? She said Trevor would need his mother to make decisions. His real mother. Linda smiled sadly. She also wanted me to give you this. She handed me an envelope with my name in shaky handwriting. What is it? I don't know. She just said to make sure you got it today. On adoption day. I tucked the letter away, saving it for later. We collected Trevor, who'd fallen asleep against Marcus, exhausted by emotion. The drive home was silent except for his occasional sniffles. Back home, Trevor disappeared to his room with the wooden box. Marcus headed to the kitchen to figure out lunch from the mountain of leftover pancakes. I sat on our bed and opened Brittany's letter. Laurel. By the time you read this, you'll be Trevor's legal mother. Good. He deserves a mother who shows up, and I've watched from afar as you've done exactly that for 3 years. I know what you've probably heard about me. Junkie. Neglectful mother. Terrible person. All true. But I was also a girl who loved her son more than life and still chose drugs. Addiction is a special kind of hell that makes you betray everything you love. Thank you for loving him when I couldn't. Thank you for being patient with his anger and fear and all the broken pieces I left behind. Thank you for not trying to erase me, for letting him write to me even when I didn't deserve it. I need you to know something. The day they took him, the day they found him in that closet, I did that on purpose. Not the neglect, that was real. But I called in the tip myself. I knew if I didn't, I'd end up killing him. Not on purpose, but through negligence or by bringing home the wrong person or by being too high to notice he was sick. I called 911 and said I heard a child crying in apartment 4B. Then I left and got high one more time, knowing it would be my last with him in my life. Don't tell him this. Let him hate me if he needs to. But I wanted you to know that even in my worst moment, I loved him enough to let him go. Take care of my baby. Love him harder on the days he's hardest to love. And when your new little one comes, congratulations. By the way, mothers always know, tell them stories about their big brother the survivor. All my love and gratitude. Brittany. I was sobbing by the end, clutching the letter to my chest. This woman, this broken, dying woman, had given me the greatest gift imaginable, her child. And she'd done it with full awareness of what she was losing. Laurel. Marcus stood in the doorway. You okay? I handed him the letter. Watched his face cycle through emotions as he read. Jesus, he breathed. She called it in herself? She saved him. In her own broken way, she saved him. Do we tell him? Not now. Maybe not ever. Let him process what he has first. A crash from Trevor's room interrupted us. We rushed in to find him surrounded by scattered photographs, the wooden box overturned. Look, he said, voice wondering. Look at us. The photos showed a younger Brittany, healthy and glowing, holding a baby Trevor. Birthday parties. Christmas mornings. Trip to the zoo. All from before the addiction took hold. She was beautiful, I said, picking up a photo of Brittany pushing Trevor on a swing. We were happy, Trevor said, like he couldn't quite believe it. We were actually happy. You were, Marcus confirmed. Those first few years, she was a good mom, Trev. Then what happened? Life. Bad choices. Disease. I sat beside him among the memories. But these moments, they were real. Hold on to them. Trevor carefully gathered the photos, placing them back in the box with reverence. Can we frame some? For my room? Of course. And? He hesitated. Can we take some pictures tomorrow? At the hospital? I want to remember her face. Even like she is now. If she's okay with it, sure. Mom? He looked at me. The baby. You'll tell them about her, right? The good stuff, not just the bad. I'll tell them everything. That their brother had 2 mothers who loved him. That families come in all shapes. That love is bigger than biology or time or even death. Promise? Promise. The next weeks blurred together in a haze of hospital visits, therapy appointments, and preparation for goodbye. Trevor spent hours with Brittany, reading to her, sharing his life, making peace with their past. She told him stories of her own childhood, of dreams deferred and choices that led her down dark paths. I watched their relationship rebuild and fast forward, compressed by mortality. They couldn't reclaim the lost years, but they found something else, forgiveness, understanding, a different kind of love. 2 days before she died, Brittany asked to speak to me alone. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Not of dying. Of being forgotten. You won't be forgotten. Trevor has your eyes, your musical talent, your stubborn streak. You'll live on in him. And the new baby? What if Trevor feels replaced? Then we'll work through it. Like families do. You're going to be such a good mother. You already are. I learned from watching you. She looked surprised. How? I was terrible. No. You were sick. But even sick, you loved him enough to let him go. That's the hardest kind of love there is. Read him the letters? On his birthdays? Every one. And tell him. She gripped my hand with surprising strength. Tell him his first mom loved him first, loved him most, loved him always. Even when I couldn't show it right. I will. She died that night, Trevor holding one hand, me